the Sala Chaweng Koh Samui is defined by chic, modern design and thoughtfully clever room layouts, and it should be on your shortlist. The full tour and review coming up. When I need to book a hotel, I do a lot of research. I look at a lot of photos, I make spreadsheets to compare properties, and I change my mind quite a bit. Every marketing photo I see online, I take with a grain of salt. All of that said, I'm pretty good at setting my expectations for a hotel at, let's say, an appropriate level. Because by the time I get there, I feel like I already know the place. For Sala Chaweng, I can say this. The resort is precisely as beautiful as it looks in photos. It exceeded my expectations, and it deserves your attention. Let's take a look at the location first. If you're new here, welcome, and thanks for watching. I hope you'll find this content worth a subscription. If you'd like to skip the location info and get straight to the review, skip to the time shown below. You probably already know the primary beach areas in Thailand: Phuket, Krabi, Pattaya, and maybe even Hua Hin. Smaller and perhaps a bit more exclusive though, you have Koh Samui, a small but bustling island in the Gulf of Thailand. Located in and off the coast of Surat Thani province, you could take a ferry from the mainland, but you probably won't. You'll fly in on Bangkok Airways. Why Bangkok Airways? Well, they own and operate the airport. Technically, they allow up to 5 flights per day from other airlines, but currently, they're the only option. Make sure you book early, as flights to Samui can be upwards of $300 or more for one of the 20 or 30 daily short flights they operate each way. Once on the ground, the Sala Chaweng is a 15-minute drive away on its namesake Chaweng Beach. One note about arrivals: I highly suggest arranging transport ahead of time with your hotel. Taxis are not that reliably lined up at the airport, and most hotels charge surprisingly reasonable fares. The layout of the resort is a bit odd, as it's split down the middle by the main road. We'll take a look at the other side a little bit later, but for now, on to reception, which is on the beach side of the resort. The reception area has a beautiful view as you walk in, but the layout is not ideal considering how busy the resort gets. The seating areas quickly fill up with guests and their bags. I understand that there are some restraints to play around with the size, but all of this could have been done across the street with a lot more breathing room. Design-wise, the hotel uses an entirely neutral and natural color palette, but it's done really well. So many times, quote-unquote modern or chic hotels with neutral palettes feel pretty boring pretty quickly. But the Sala has used such a wide variety of materials, textures, and hues that the resort starts to feel like a small high-end property in South Beach or Mykonos or some other impossibly chic location. The reception area leads directly into the first of 2 large common areas, here featuring the main pool, a well-kept lawn, and plenty of lounging beds. Originally opened in late 2014, the resort features 134 rooms, suites, and villas. There's also another Sala property on Samui, which was actually the original of the 7 resorts that Sala Hospitality currently own and operate. They're also the largest shareholder of Six Senses Koh Samui. The hotel group has plans for further domestic and international expansion, and after this stay, I'm all for it. In Thai, Sala refers to a large communal living area in traditional houses, and in its own way, that's what this central common area of the resort is representing. This was actually my room during my stay, but we'll get back to that in a bit. I should mention, this resort was closed for much of COVID and only reopened 2 or 3 days prior to my visit. Chaweng Beach has powdery white sand and features spectacular sunrises and surf that was never stronger than what you see here. The beach, with its turquoise water, is beautiful, but the beach is also, I think, a relative low point for the resort for one very specific reason. It feels cluttered. There are day beds, loungers, a bar and all of its seating, trees, sports equipment, trash cans, cigarette disposal, lighting. It's just too much. The property doesn't have a huge waterfront, but it's plenty large, I think. It just needs to be laid out better with more care. Frankly, just as the rest of the resort already is. The landscaping design, I think, is both smart looking and smart in design. It's enough to remind you that you're definitely on a tropical escape, but not so much that upkeep becomes a problem. Just behind the beach is the jacuzzi and primary swimming pool. Many of the rooms here have some version of their own private pools attached to the room, so this area was never overly busy. But the layout feels appropriate for times when they would be fully booked, especially considering that there's an entirely separate pool area on the other side of the street. One thing that I'm a fan of at any resort is when the design takes into account how the natural light throughout the day is going to play off of the structures. In the morning, the facade was golden, at sunset, shades of pink, and maybe my favorite after dark when the backlit archways really took the spotlight. I want to talk a bit about the room categories, as there are many and it's not necessarily clear until after you make your booking what you're going to get if you're not careful. In general, garden wing rooms are across the street, and oceanfront rooms are here on this side. In the main building here, the ground floor is made up of Oceanfront Garden Pool Suites, which have private pools in the back. Above them are Oceanfront Balcony Pool Suites, with private pools in the front, and on top of those, the much larger Oceanfront one-bedroom pool suites. On either side of the main pool area are the Oceanfront 1- and 2-bedroom villas. Everything else is across the street. One nice thing about a centrally located hotel on Samui is that there are always taxis waiting and there's a 24-hour Family Mart just across the street. In Samui, this is a bit of a luxury. Definitely understated, the garden wing entrance leads you to a nice reception area, presumably used for peak season or group check-in. It is truly like a bit of a maze back here, with the walkways zigzagging from building to building. So, who's staying here? Based on the photos when I was doing research, I'll admit that I was a little concerned that it was going to have one of those beach clubby pretentious vibes to it. But at least during my stay, when the prices were quite low, it didn't. The crowd was almost exclusively younger Thai couples, with a sprinkling of Western expats traveling solo. All of the rooms now you see are garden wing category rooms. Some open to a small courtyard like this one, while most open to the other pool area. Finally, we find ourselves in the hidden pool courtyard of the garden wing. This pool area was not fully reopened yet, but I presume by the time this video is published, it will be as well decked out as the oceanfront area is. As I've mentioned in my other Thai videos, government regulations concerning spas were extremely strict at the time of my visit, requiring an appointment just to enter. But here, we can see probably the only walls on the resort that aren't painted white. The entrance in person has a surprisingly inviting feel to it. Now, let's take a look at one of my favorite rooms in quite a while. The entrance has a seating area, which they'll also set up with a table and chairs if you'd like. Normally, I'd hesitate to stay in a room that's so open to the resort on the ground floor, but it really wasn't a problem. Walking into the room, I was struck by how sleek and well maintained the room was, with the beautiful jade pool in the background. Let's take a quick walkthrough first. The rooms are modern and neutral, but they feel warm. Every archway is perfectly placed with what feels like 1,000 pillows throughout. Of course, the room is complete with all of the mod cons that you'd need, including multiple semi-universal outlets on both sides of the bed. I love all the little hidden Easter eggs in the design that you find throughout the room, such as the legs of the bedroom area furniture, all made of coconut bowls. The bedding, the polished floors, the wooden furniture, the pristine bathroom fixtures, absolutely everything in this room has a premium feel to it. Going back to what I mentioned earlier, the mix of materials is what sets the room's design apart in my opinion. There's a small desk area stocked with branded content. Normally, I just give these things a glance, but in this case, I actually did enjoy reading about all of their other properties, as before this stay, I really didn't know anything about Sala hotels. To access the room service menu and plenty of other info about the resort, they had an app for you to download to access everything you'd need. Across from the desk was the well-stocked minibar area with plenty of bottles of water, decent coffee, and a reasonably priced selection of drinks. The vanity area looks brand new, and the attention to detail is far above most other resorts in the same price range. And no matter how impractical it is, I love that the soap has its own blown glass cloche. It's tough to believe that this resort is 7 years old. It's a testament to how smart it is when hotel groups invest in quality finishes from the get-go. A note about the products used in the room. I love the scents because I chose them. After you make a reservation, you'll be sent a form to fill out which takes all of your basic info, such as guest info, arrival flights, and things like that, but also invites you to choose your preferred pillow type and preferred scents of soap. This is a level of detail that I appreciate very much. Across from the vanity is the large open closet with loads of space to store and organize your clothes, no matter how heavy of a packer you are. The room has a decent-sized indoor shower, with the bathtub being out back next to the pool. And then, the crown jewel of the room, the private pool. Behind those bamboo walls is the main street, which you can't really hear. I truly loved it back here. It felt like you had your own private grotto or something, complete with a large ottoman, beach towels, and a large soaking tub. Ground floor rooms for ages have been the least desirable throwaway rooms at most resorts. In the design of this resort, I think Sala really fully utilized every square inch of available space to them and embraced the street running through the resort. As much as I did love the room though, next time, just because there will be a next time, I'll go for the room category just above me, with the pool in the front overlooking the sea. I think it's safe to say that most guests here will be couples where privacy isn't the main concern, but there are still plenty of configurations of curtains to block off or open up the room however you'd like. At dusk, we can start to appreciate the lighting and architecture even more. And while the beach faces east, we can still get some pretty spectacular sunsets. Dinner was beachside, but it got dark really quickly, so I'm going to rely on photos here. The menu was accessed via QR code and was very extensive, with many Thai and Western options. I went with the Thai fish cakes and the sort of deconstructed fish pie. Both were spot on. Six o'clock the next morning, I was impressed to see how many guests were up to see the sunrise, which was the very definition of picturesque. Early morning sunshine, and the resort was literally glowing. These raised platforms on the left were always full during meal times, so make sure you get there early if you'd like to grab one. Breakfast is at the Tent restaurant beside the beach. The design was impressive, but the food even more so. There was a small buffet of mostly breads, juices, fruits, and salads, which was supplemented by a comprehensive a la carte menu. The menu featured everything from classics such as Eggs Benedict to healthier smoothie bowls, and also a daily rotating special, which on this Tuesday was Thai-style fried chicken with sticky rice, which was incredibly flavorful. A final glimpse at the beautiful water and the beach bar while it's actually open, before wrapping up this tour. And now for the flip-flop score. In a first for the channel, the room design gets an 11 out of 10. The room condition was also near perfect at a 9. Service overall was good, but wait times in the restaurant were on the high side and service wasn't proactive, with an 8. The common areas and grounds both get a 9, trusting the garden wing pool area is already up and running. Cleanliness is a solid 10. When a hotel is all white, it's gotta be clean, and it was. The restaurants and bar were also exceptionally designed at a 10. Food quality comes in at a 9, and with your choices for soaps and pillows and great coffee, amenities has got to be a 10. Finally, the beach gets a 7 for being as cluttered as it was, but could easily be a 9 with a little rearranging. Overall, an outstanding 92 out of 100. I personally will return to this resort and look forward to what Sala brings to the table in the future. Thanks for watching and hope you'll consider subscribing. See you in a few days with another review.